All right, Shalom Yashala. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to you brothers to the four corners of the earth, preaching His word and also laboring in His word in truth, love, and sincerity. Shalom to the hopeful elect. And I'm going to go into this article. This is from Consumer Reports, dealing with the title, as you see on the screen. It reads, it says, arsenic and lead are in your fruit juice. What you need to know. CR finds concerning levels of heavy metals in almost half of tested juices. Here's how to protect yourself and your family. Okay, and this is a recent article, like it says here, last updated January 30th, 2019. And I actually been coming across and hearing about this arsenic and lead and heavy metals up in the kids' juices. So I wanted to look it up myself and do a quick lesson on it as well, as far as in giving my take on this whole ordeal, because we know that a part of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man's population control, he uses different forms of methods to destroy people. Okay. Now, with that being said, let's get this right. Okay, this is very true. So this is reads, it says population control, top 10 methods used to reduce the human. And when you look at number 2 is what? The food supply. Okay? The food supply. So we know Esau uses one of the methods that he uses is the food supplies. Okay? So the things that's in your food, the things that's in your drinks, he will use that as a way of poisoning you to keep you sick, to ultimately to kill you off. That's his main agenda. All right? But when you look into these different foods that we are eating, hey, they are highly toxic. Okay? They are not beneficial to our bodies. Just like when you read his method 4, the GMO food, man. Okay? These foods that we are eating are not good for our body whatsoever. Okay? So, let's go back to the article. And you know what? Let's pull this up real fast. The Georgia Guidestones. All right. Okay, so as you see here, these are the Georgia Guidestones, right? And on one of the inscriptions, let's see if we can get the actual image up so we can read it straight like it is. Yep. Here go one of them. Somebody already got it circled out. As you see at the top, it says maintain humanity under 500 million in a perpetual balance with nature. You see that? So this damn devil, Esau, Edom, they want to maintain immunity under 500 million people, man. All right? Now, the world currently holds, it's said to be, 7.5 billion? You see? So you do the math on that calculation, all right? You do the math and see how many people that Esau ultimately wants to destroy, man. Okay? Why? Because one of the reasons, I'll just point out one of the reasons, it is easier to control 500 million people than to control 7.5 billion. All right? A lot easier when you think about that number. So let's go back into, and as you can see, I've been looking up a lot of different articles, touching around this heavy metals matter. Okay? By the different ways Esau uses. Like I said before, Lord willing, if some scriptures come to mind, I'll get them as I go. But this is more of a going into an article type of lesson. Okay? So, let's start to read. It says, fruit juices health halo has slipped in recent years, mainly because it packs a lot of sugar and calories. But there's another, lesser known health risk with these juices. They may also contain potentially harmful levels of arsenic, uh, cadmium, and lead, according to new tests from Consumer Reports. CR tested 45 popular fruit juices sold across the country, including apple, grape, pear, and fruit blends, and found elevated levels of those elements, commonly known as heavy metals, in almost half of them, including juices marketed for children. In some cases, drinking just 4 ounces a day or a half a cup is enough to raise concern, says James Dickerson, PhD, CR's chief scientific officer. Okay, and the report came out as he said, he came out blatantly and he told the people like, hey, quit giving your kids these juices, man. Quit drinking these juices. It's better just to give your children fruit, man. Okay, fruit will be more beneficial to your children than drinking these juices. All right, and on top of that, I'm gonna throw this in there as well. Y'all gotta you people out there need to start eating the different fruit with the seeds in it. Okay? Because when you eat fruit without seeds, you gotta ask yourself, how did this seedless fruit grow? Okay? When fruit carries seeds, man. Okay? So when you have something that's seedless, that ultimately that fruit was made up of another type way. Okay? You know what? Let's see if we can pull that real fast. See, here we go. Genesis 1, verse 29. It says, "And the Most High said, Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in which is of the fruit of a tree, yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat." Okay? So these different fruits are supposed to have seeds, but now what you have today, you have a thing called GMOs. Okay, genetically modified organisms. So when you go back to the population control methods, what do you see? Method number 4, GMOs. Okay, which includes seedless fruit. All right, so let's go back to this article. Um, it says our test focused on cadmium, lead, mercury, and inorganic arsenic, the type most harmful to health because they pose some of the greatest risk, and prior research suggests they are common in food and drink. Let's click on this to see what this. Let's see what this is. Oh man. See, this sends you to another link of what? Of things that people consume a lot in their bodies. Okay. Actually didn't want the article. I wanted to actually touch on what it says. Because this is going on speaking of how much arsenic is in your rice. But Lord willing, I can do a lesson on that another time. I really just wanted to touch on inorganic arsenic to see what it's speaking about. So it says our test focused on cadmium, lead, mercury, and inorganic arsenic, the type most harmful to health because they pose some of the greatest risks, and prior research suggests that they are common in food and drink. And Americans, especially the nation's children, drink a lot of juice. More than 80% of parents of children aged 3 and younger give their kids fruit juice as at least sometimes, according to a recent National Consumer Reports survey of 3,002 parents, in 74% of those cases, kids drink juice once a day or more. Children are particularly vulnerable to the harmful effects of heavy metals. Exposure to these metals early can affect their whole life trajectory. Slakia, says Jennifer Lowry, MD, chairperson of the American Academy of Pediatrics, Council on Environmental Health, as well as director of clinical pharmacology, toxicology, and therapeutic innovations at Children's Mercy Kansas City. There is so much development happening in their years of life, but heavy metals can harm adults too. 5 of the juices we tested pose a risk to adults at 4 or more ounces per day, and 5 others pose a risk at 8 or more ounces a day, or 8 or more ounces, Dickerson says. The chart below, the juices we tested and the daily serving sizes the proposed Salakia. I'm getting too excited. It says the chart below show the juices we tested and the daily servings sizes that pose potential health risks for adults and children. Here we look into why heavy metals are dangerous, why so many products have high levels, what manufacturers are doing to lower those levels, and how parents can protect their children and themselves. Okay, so let's go on. How heavy metals can harm. The harmful effects of heavy metals are well documented. Depending on how long children are exposed to these toxins and how much they are exposed to, they may be at risk for lowered IQ, behavioral problems such as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, type 2 diabetes, and cancer, among other health issues. So do you see why, that a lot of these metals are pushed, right? A lot of these different metals and chemicals are pushed in the food and pushed in the drinks. Because of what? It lowers the IQ. It creates you having behavioral problems, right? Gives you type 2 diabetes, gives you cancer, right? Among the other health issues that they're not mentioning right here that they scientifically have proven that people get from having too much of it. Okay? These are reasons why they put so many chemicals in the different foods, man. Right? In your drinking water and things like that. Right? Because ultimately it has an effect on your body over a period of time. Right? It says, though the risk of heavy metals from any one source may be low, when people are exposed to even small amounts from multiple sources over time, the danger multiplies. And it just repeated exactly what I said. Okay? And such exposure is common. Previous tests from CR and others have found elevated levels of heavy metals, not just in juices, but also in infant and toddler foods, rice and rice products, protein powder, some types of fish, and sweet potatoes. The toxins may also be in the environment, including the water, the air, and the soil. You see that? Do you see that? Now, things may be going on where, you may get different particles of these different things, like in the air, right, in the water, okay, in different foods. But the amount and levels of it that they are finding in these particular items or the air and things like that has been proven and been a known fact that these devils, these elites, the government, right? But the elites are higher than the government, okay? The elites are the Edomite banking families, okay? But they have their government push out and do their, dirty work, so to say. But the things that's being pushed out on the people at high rates like this and the high chemical levels or metal levels that that the elites are purposely orchestrating this. Even going back into we know the words by using chemtrails, right? I just later found out by scientists. It said You know, amongst common talk, it's called chemtrails. Which the chemicals that's in the air that is spread out by the different jets daily, um, to ultimately put different metals in you, like aluminum and barium and some sort of other metals. But you know, just found out that it's also better known as in the scientific field as geoengineering. Okay, that's a scientific form that they use amongst each other instead of chemtrails. But there's a whole different ordeal when you're dealing with that, because the different wordings and the different disinformation that Esau got out there. But ultimately, you know, uh, what these devils are doing is poisoning us, man. Okay, that's the reason why you have things like the chemtrails, spreading the chemicals uh, all throughout the air. That what we have to breathe in, and we are breathing in metals. Okay, metals. Not only by eating them, by breathing them in. So these are different methods and sources that this devil is using to what? To destroy the people. Okay, to destroy the people. So when we go back and look at this, right? Population control methods. Let's go to environmental manipulation. Okay, and that's somewhat part of that is what I just spoke on. Okay, we know a part of the environmental manipulation deals with like CERN, right? That weather program that they got. Okay, that where they can control the weather with a HARP. Okay, their HARP device. So those are things to look into if you want to get more knowledge on that per se. But we're still with this article still. So it says the toxins may also be in the environment, including the water, the air, and the soil, which it is. Okay, because a lot of this water, this tap water, which people shouldn't even be drinking tap water anymore. Hey, it contains heavy lead, man. Okay, amongst other things. So, back in the article, it says, in the course of a lifetime, the average person will come into contact with these metals many times from many sources, says the Tunde Akinla, a chemist in Consumer Reports Food Safety Division who led our testing. We've exposed these metals so frequently during our lives that it is vital to limit exposures early on. Heavy metals may be less risky to adults, but exposure can still lead to health problems. Over many years, even modest amounts of heavy metals may rise the risk of bladder, lung, and skin cancer, cognitive and reproductive problems, and type 2 diabetes among other conditions. And arsenic, cadmium, and lead each pose their own set of potential harms. Lead, for example, is associated with high blood pressure, heart disease, and fertility problems. Arsenic is linked to cardiovascular disease, and long-term cadmium exposure increases the risk of bone damage and kidney disease, among other issues. You see, this is madness, man. Still, Dickerson says it's never too late to change dietary habits, even if you or your children have been drinking juices higher in heavy metals. The risk comes from chronic exposure, he says. Minimizing consumption of juices and other foods that have heavy metals can reduce the chance of negative outcomes in the future. So what CR's test found in 2011, CR found that elevated levels of inorganic arsenic and lead in apple and grape juices. Our most recent tests were conducted to see whether products have improved since then, to examine other types of juice and to the test for additional heavy metals. So, hey, you look at the list, it gives you the list down here. Okay? It gives you the list, it gives you the different stores that's selling these things, man. Hey, look, Caprice. I'm just read a few. You got Capri Sun. You got Gerber, which is for babies. You got Juicy Juice, Nature's Own, Ocean Spray, Welch's. Like, come on, man. Hey, and these are the juices, I grew up on. I don't drink too much juices now. Maybe apple juice and cranberry juice once in a blue moon. But you wouldn't never think that this devil will put all these different metals in it, man. Okay. So I want to touch on a little bit more, and then I want to close out. I don't want to read this whole article because it's actually a lot, but it's very edifying, It's very edifying, and just to see how this devil is operating, man. Okay, and how he is destroying us, but not just by the just by food and water, but hey, the by destroying the environment. Okay, all these different ways this devil is using, man. Uh, oh man, there's so much that's beautiful on this article. Um, but you can go and look on this your own. This is consumerreports.org. Okay, you could just type in arsenic and lead on your fruit juice or what you need to know. Okay, this will pop up. So let's get a scripture, um, and then we could close out. All right, so this is the book of Ezekiel 4, verse 13. It says, And the Lord said, Even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread amongst the Gentiles, whither I will drive them. Okay? And the children of Israel consist of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and Seminole Indians. All right? Also, you confusion of faith brothers and sisters scattered through the four corners of the earth. So wherever we are dwelling at, we are going to eat the foul bread among the Gentiles, okay, amongst these heathen nations. All right, and you was just shown in this very article that your food, right, and it was mainly dealing with the juices, how we have heavy metals in those juices, but as you read that on the article, it went how there's heavy metals in different things we eat. What they say, sweet potatoes and rice. Jake loved rice, man. Right? Jake loved yams. Hey, but this food that we're eating is defiled, man. Okay? It's defiled beyond the metals. Okay? I ain't even gonna go into that article today, dealing with that. But hey, it just shows you that what the Lord said is true, man. The Lord's not a man that he should lie. So wherever we are dwelling, we are eating defiled food, man. We are eating polluted food that potentially can harm us, man. Right? That potentially not can, but over a period of time, which consuming enough of it will harm us, man. Will, for sure. So that's why it's in your best interest to not eat such things or take in such things as these different fruit juices that I was listing, excesses, the excess of these different meats, okay? Because ultimately, what it does is it destroys our body over time with all the crap that it has in it. All right, but hey, and that's the point. I know I did more of talking of dealing with this article, but hey, that's the spirit I wanted to go in today. Dealing with this lesson was more of touch on an article and make a few pointers on it, but also pull out a few scriptures that I had. Okay, so you know what? Matter of fact, let me read this before I close out. It says, among the findings, it says every product had measurable levels of at least one of these heavy metals: cadmium, inorganic arsenic, lead, or mercury. 21, 47% of the 45 juices had concerning levels of cadmium, inorganic arsenic, and or lead. None contained concerning levels of mercury. Seven of those 21 juices could harm children who drink 4 ounces, half a cup or more a day. 9 of them pose risk to kids at 8 ounces, 1 cup or more a day. 5 of the products with elevated levels are juice boxes or pouches ranging from 4 to 6.75 ounces. These pose a risk to a child who drinks more than 1 box or pouch per day. 10 of the juices pose a risk to adults, 5 of them at 4 ounces or more a day, and 5 at 8 ounces or more a day. Grape juice and juice blends had the highest average heavy metals levels. Juice brands marketed for children did not fare better or worse than other juices. Organic juices did not have lower levels of heavy metals than conventional ones. You see? So, hey, man, when you go into this, man, it just shows you how this dude, Esau Edom, so-called white man, is the devil. Okay? That's just what it shows you, man. All right? And he has no best interest for us being the Israelites, nor for his own damn people, man. Okay? Because who does things like this, man? Who come on, who does that? Who pollutes the air that you have to breathe? Who destroys the water that you have to drink? Who destroys the environment that you have to live in? Esau Edom, the so-called white man. He's the one behind this. He does this crap, man. Why? Because he's the devil, man. He's the devil that the Bible speaks of. Let's go to the book of Isaiah 24, verse, we can close out with this. 24, Isaiah 24, verse 5, it says, "The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore have the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left." So, hey, man, the earth is defiled under this devil, man. Okay? The earth is completely defiled. All right? And so is everyone that's dwelling on the earth under rule of this devil. Okay? Esau Edom, the wicked. All right, but with that, hope this lesson was edifying going into this article. These different points on there should make you think, at least make you think about how much of these juices, you should consume, not only for yourself, but for your children. But with that being said, shalom.